안녕하세요. You're going to learn how to make question sentences using what plus noun and which plus noun in this lesson. Let's start.
Let's learn how to make a question using which and what plus a noun. Let's take a look at the English sentences carefully first. Which one do you prefer? Which of the applicants had the job? Which flavor of ice cream do you like? We can use the Korean word 어느 for the translation of the English word which in these kinds of sentences. What movie are you watching? What kind of music do you like? We can use the Korean word 무슨 for the translation of the English word what in these kinds of sentences. By the way, there is one more in Korean. This is the important part. 어떤. You can use 어떤 for the sentences that use both which plus a noun and what plus a noun. Some people call these three words 어느, 무슨, 어떤 a determiner. But let's not talk about the grammar term here, because grammar terms of English and those of Korean sometimes don't really match. Then let's learn about these three, 어느, 무슨, 어떤, more specifically. You understand the usage of which and what in English, don't you? Pretty much the same thing applies to Korean too. Then let's see the first one. 어느. You can say that this one is translation of the English word which. It also sounds like there are two or more obvious choices as the English word which does. In other words, the listener can choose the answer between two or more possible answers or alternatives. We don't think of any case that which is used alone in a Korean sentence without a noun. You always use 어느 with a noun. We'll tell you more about this later. If we ever see the case that 어느 is used alone without a noun, let's talk about it again. Maybe there's none. 무슨. This one is closer to the English word what, which means you normally use this one when you don't know what possible answer would be. But something is wrong. We learned that the translation of the English word what is 무엇 or 뭐. Yes, you're right, but when you want to use it as a determiner, in other words, when you want to use it with a noun like what movie or what music, you should use 무슨. We can see n consonant, which sounds like an English alphabet N, is added here as a final. We're gonna learn about how this n sound turns an adjective into a modifier later again. Yes, you can look forward to it. Let's see the next one. 어떤. This one is new. This one also has n sound like N in English as a final. Keep that in mind. If you are not a native English speaker, you must have been sometimes not so sure which one to use, which or what. But don't worry, we have 어떤 in Korean. 어떤 has a different usage too, but I would say 어떤 is somewhere between which and what. Sometimes it sounds like asking characteristic, nature, state, condition of someone or something. So sometimes it has the nuance of what kind of or what sort of. And it also sounds like there are two or more possible answers so that you can choose. So you use 어떤 not only when there is no fixed possible answer, but also there are obviously possible choices. So 어느 is closer to English which, and 무슨 is closer to English what, and 어떤 is somewhere between 어느 and 무슨. Then you might wonder if the rule is really that strict. There is a reason why we've just used the comparative word closer. We don't think the usage of them is strictly fixed in Korean. Yes, there is a clear definition of them, of course, but most of the time, no native Korean would notice the difference whichever you use. Even in English, you can replace the usage of which with what generally. But it doesn't always work the other way around because 어느 and which has the strong nuance of the visible choice. The same thing applies to Korean. So if you want to be more precise, you can choose between 어느 and 무슨 according to the situation, as you do in English. But the point is, as told you, you can be more flexible when you speak Korean. We'd like to say that you just be careful when you use 어느 because of the strong nuance of fixed choice. Otherwise, you can use either 어떤 or 무슨 for most of the cases. If it's really hard for you to remember all of them for now, just use 어떤. It will work most of the cases. Yes, we are very lucky. Okay, let's make the easiest questions first. What music do you like? How do you rearrange the words? You can do that yourself, can you? Okay, let's do that together. Find the subject first all the time and put it at the head of the sentence no matter whether you use it or not. Since we already know a verb or a predicate adjective will come at the end of the sentence, we just need to find other elements such as object or complement and put it right before the verb. That's it. It applies to either declarative or interrogative sentence, any sentence. Which English sentence pattern is this sentence in? Yes, sentence pattern number 2. Subject plus verb plus object. When you are not so sure, you can make a sentence like, you like what music in your mind first. Then you can know that this sentence has a subject, a verb, and an object. Plus the entire what music is the object of the sentence. What's the object in this sentence again? Yes, the entire what music is the object of the sentence. When you translate the English phrase which plus a noun or what plus a noun into Korean, which and a noun or what and a noun should stick together all the time, even in a Korean sentence. So the entire what music part is going to be an object in a Korean sentence too. You can consider using the object particle 을 or 를 because you know that what music is an object of the verb like. Okay? Great. So the sentence structure is going to be you, what music, like, and a question mark. You, we don't need this. What music? Let's use 무슨. As we learned, music is 음악. 무슨 음악. Yes, you can add the object particle 을. 무슨 음악을. 무슨 음악을. 음악을 sounds like 음악을. When you speed it out faster in a real life conversation, and you know why. 무슨 음악을. Yes, it sounds slightly natural without the particle 을. 무슨, 어떤, or 어느 always comes right before a noun, as which or what does in English, as we told you. Like, 좋아해요. So, 무슨 음악을 좋아해요? Or without the particle 을. 무슨 음악 좋아해요? It's easy, isn't it? Let's make a higher respect form. We just need to change the verb part. You already know how to turn the verb like into a higher respect form, right? Add 어요 sound to the stem of the basic form of the higher respect form 좋아하시다. 좋아하시 plus 어요. 좋아하시어요 becomes 좋아하셔요. Okay? And you can use 좋아하세요 too with a 세 sound. So 무슨 음악 좋아하셔요? Or 무슨 음악 좋아하세요? You can use 어떤 instead of 무슨 here. 어떤 음악 좋아하세요? 어떤 음악 좋아해요? 어떤 sounds more like what kind of or what sort of. You can use either of them according to your talking habit. But you can't use 어느 for this sentence, as you can't replace the usage of what with which, even in English, because of the strong nuance of the limited choice that which has. Okay? Let's see the next sentence. Which color do you like? You like which color? Now you can rearrange the words easily, right? You, which color? Like, and a question mark. The entire which color is the object here too. Which color? Yes, 어느 is the translation of the English word which, and it has the same nuance or usage that the English word which has. Color is 색깔, 색깔, 어느 색깔. Yes, you can add the object particle 을, 어느 색깔을, 어느 색깔을. More naturally, 어느 색깔을, 어느 색깔을. Okay? Like, 좋아해요? 어느 색깔을 좋아해요? 어느 색깔을 좋아해요? Yes, it sounds exactly like an English sentence with which. It sounds like there are limited options. 어느 색깔을 좋아해요? Which color do you like? Let's make a higher respect form together. It's easy, right? 어느 색깔을 좋아하세요? 어느 색깔을 좋아하셔요? Of course, you can use 좋아하셔요 too with the 셔 sound. But 좋아하세요 with the 세 sound is used more commonly in a real-life conversation. We don't have to say this anymore, right? Let's use 어떤, which fits into most of the cases. 어떤 색깔을 좋아하세요? 어떤 색깔을 좋아하세요? We told you that most of the time, we can replace the usage of which with what. Then let's use 무슨 this time and see how it sounds like. 무슨 색깔을 좋아하세요? 무슨 색깔을 좋아하세요? Yes, it sounds alright as expected. It's not that difficult, is it? Which flavor of ice cream do you like? What you have to learn on this page is how the preposition of works like in an English sentence and how it changes in a Korean sentence. Plus, which one is used as an object. Let's see the English sentence again. Which flavor of ice cream do you like? The point is, the listener has to pick one flavor out of many flavors, right? Let's take a look at the grammar part first. When you have to pick one between, among, or out of two or more, you always use 중 in Korean. 중. We'll give some English examples. He's the tallest among his brothers. Please choose between the two. Which one do you like out of this? Baseball is one of the most popular sports in Korea. When you translate these English sentences into Korean, you will have to use a noun 중 for translation of between, among, or out of. You may realize by now that many English adverbs or prepositions are translated into a noun in Korean. These nouns turn into an adverb or adverbial phrase when they combine with a particle in Korean. Okay, don't need to go deeper, just nod your head twice and keep moving. So, in this sentence, we might have to use 중 for the translation of the preposition of. We'll see how it works shortly. Let's keep going with the grammar section. Since we are going to use 중 for the preposition of, we are not going to use 의 that we learned in lesson 4 part 4. We told you that the English preposition of can be translated into the particle 의 in most of the cases, but not this time. We'll talk about this on the next page. You can add a particle 에 or 에서 to 중 because they also indicate the source or origin of something. We mentioned about this in lesson 4, part 3. 에서 clearly has the nuance of the source or origin. How about 에? The particle 에 also turns a noun into an adverb or an adverbial phrase which indicates the limited choices. So both 에서 and 에 have the nuance of source of choice. We've been using 에 to turn a noun into an adverb or an adverbial phrase that indicates a place or a certain point in time, we know, but both 에서 and 에 have more than 6 to 10 usages. So let's learn one by one. Anyway, you can choose to use any of them. 중에서, 중에, 중. But we recommend 중에서 at this point because it sounds clearer. 중에 is used differently sometimes. So let's use 중에서, 중에서 this time. Okay then, let's rearrange the words. Before you do that, please don't forget which and flavor have to stick together even in a Korean sentence. Let's put the subject you first, which is actually useless. And let's put the verb like at the end of the sentence. And which flavor? In an English sentence, the entire which flavor of ice cream is an object of the verb like. But in this Korean sentence, only which flavor is going to be an object of the verb like. Because of ice cream has its role independently as a source of choice. So which flavor comes right before the verb because it's an object in a Korean sentence. And then you can put of ice cream part right before the which flavor part. In Korean, we tend to arrange the words in order from bigger with wider range to smaller with a narrow range. We pick one flavor out of all flavors of ice cream. So it's natural to position of ice cream before which flavor. Okay? So the order is going to be you of ice cream, which flavor, like, and a question mark. Then let's make a Korean sentence together. Of ice cream. Ice cream is just 아이스크림. Ice cream. Or you can use the English pronunciation, ice cream. It's okay. Everybody will understand. As we learned, we should use 중, 중에, or 중에서. 아이스크림, 중, which roughly means among or amongst ice cream. Or 아이스크림 중에서 will be fine too. Which flavor? Which is 어느, and flavor is 맛, 맛. Which flavor? 어느 맛, 어느 맛. Since this is an object of the sentence, let's put the particle 을, 어느 맛을, 어느 맛을, 어느 맛을. Yes, you can get rid of the particle 을. It's okay in conversational Korean. As for subject or object particle, if you don't know whether to use or not, just don't use it. Normally it's okay. But we always think that you should know the basics. Okay? Like, 좋아해요, 좋아해요. 아이스크림 중 어느 맛을 좋아해요? Sounds a bit foreigner, but it's still okay. 아이스크림 중에서 어느 맛을 좋아해요? Well, it sounds better. 아이스크림 중 어느 맛을 좋아해요? 아이스크림 중에서 어느 맛을 좋아해요? Let's use 중에 for the preposition of and 어떤 instead of 어느 this time. And then let's turn the verb into a higher respect form. 아이스크림 중에 어떤 맛을 좋아하셔요? Or 좋아하세요? 아이스크림 중에 어떤 맛을 좋아하세요? 아이스크림 중에 어떤 맛을 좋아하세요? Let's use 중에서 for the preposition of, and let's use 무슨 instead of 어느 or 어떤 this time, and keep using the higher respect verb. 아이스크림 중에서 무슨 맛을 좋아하세요? 아이스크림 중에서 무슨 맛을 좋아하세요? Without the particle 을, 아이스크림 중에서 무슨 맛 좋아하세요? 아이스크림 중에서 무슨 맛 좋아하세요? We are sure any native Korean will give you the right answer to what you are asking about. Great. What are you going to learn on this page? Let's see the English sentence first. Which flavor of ice cream do you like? Yes, it is the same sentence. We'd like to let you know another way to translate this sentence. In the previous page, which flavor was used as an object. This time, we're going to use ice cream as an object. Well, you can say that the entire which flavor of ice cream is going to be used as an object. Which flavor is going to be used as a modifier though, which modifies ice cream. Confusing, isn't it? Please listen to our explanation carefully. Even though it's too hard for you to understand, please don't give up and watch this part over and over again until you kind of understand what we're talking about. Okay? The sentence structure itself is simple. Subject plus object plus verb. You, which flavor of ice cream? Like. We don't need to change the order of the words in the phrase which flavor of ice cream. Just check it, leave it there, and move on. Let's see the translation right away, and then learn about the grammar. You. We don't need this. Which flavor of ice cream? Which is 어느. Flavor is 맛. The preposition of. This time we're gonna use the particle 의 that we learned in lesson 4 part 1. We told you that the English preposition of can be translated into the particle 의 in most of the cases in Korean. Yes, most of the cases, which means there are exceptions. Anyway, we're gonna use 의 this time. Ice cream is just 아이스크림 or ice cream, whatever your accent is. So 어느 맛의 아이스크림. 어느 맛의 아이스크림. And the particle 을 어느 맛의 아이스크림을 like. 좋아해요? 좋아해요? 어느 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아해요? 어느 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아해요? Yes, you can omit the object particle 을. 어느 맛의 아이스크림 좋아해요? That's it. Is it that simple? If you had studied lesson 4 part 1 thoroughly, you must have realized something was not right. Did you find out what it was? It's okay, we'll talk about this one more time. Let's see the grammar section together. In lesson 4 part 1, we told you that when you translate the phrase with the preposition of into Korean, for example, the first noun, of, the second noun, you should put the second noun first and add 의 in substitution for of, then put the first noun in Korean. The second noun, 의, first noun. Do you remember? Yes, it is correct in most of the cases, but there are exceptions. Let's learn about those exceptions here. Don't worry, it's not that difficult, but please listen carefully though. If you dig into the Korean dictionary, you can find more than 20 usages of 의. Of course, you shouldn't, wouldn't, couldn't know them all, especially at level 1. So don't worry about it, just listen to our explanation casually and move on. We'll let you know a good tip after this. A flavor of ice cream. This is the phrase that we are using here. A flavor is 맛 in Korean, and ice cream is just ice cream. If the phrase a flavor of ice cream is used alone, the translation is going to be 아이스크림의 맛. 아이스크림의 맛. The second noun, ice cream, comes first, and then 의 comes next. and then the first noun of flavor comes later. So 아이스크림의 맛 is the correct translation of a flavor of ice cream. So if you want to say I like the flavor of ice cream in Korean, it will be 저는 아이스크림의 맛을 좋아해요. So the second noun ice cream comes first and first noun of flavor comes later. But in the original English sentence on this page, we added a which to flavor. So it's which flavor? Which flavor of ice cream? If you translate it directly based on what you learned in lesson 4 part 1, it would be 아이스크림의 어느 맛. Because the second noun ice cream would come first, and then 의 would come next, and then which flavor 어느 맛 would come at the end. 아이스크림의 어느 맛. Well, even though you ask 아이스크림의 어느 맛을 좋아하세요 to native Koreans, they will totally understand what you mean, but it is not a correct sentence. This is the important part. When you add something such as an adjective or an interrogative like which or what to the first noun, it becomes to modify the second noun all of a sudden in a Korean sentence. So it becomes like ice cream that has which flavor. It doesn't make sense in English, but it becomes like it in Korean. When the word modifies another word in Korean, it should come before the word that is modified. Again, modifier should come before the word which is modified. So, in this case, the first part, which flavor, comes first, and then put 의, and then the second word, ice cream, comes last. So, 어느 맛의 ice cream. 어느 맛의 ice cream is correct. Let's see the phrase below. This is another good example. Many different flavor of ice cream. The same thing applies here. The first noun flavor wasn't used alone. Many different modifies the noun flavor. And the entire phrase many different flavor modifies the noun ice cream. Like ice cream that has many different flavors. You don't know the translation of each word, but in Korean, many different flavor comes first, and then 의 comes, and then the second noun ice cream comes. Got it? Okay, great. There is another rule. This is a different rule, but the first noun comes first, and the second noun comes last in this case too in Korean. When of is used after words and phrases referring to quantities, units, or groups of things. In this case, the first noun comes first and the second noun comes last. And 의 comes in between too. Like 100 degrees of water, a box of tissues, a cup of tea, 10 years of history, and etc. Let's not go deeper this time. We think you have had enough. Just remember that it's actually under the dominant principle that a word modifies always come before one that is modified. So don't worry, we'll talk about this again when we see something like this again. If you don't really understand the usages of 의, just get rid of it from the sentence completely. It wouldn't sound so weird. Yes, this is the good tip we were talking about earlier. Okay, we've learned what we need, then let's make Korean sentence again. You, which flavor of ice cream? Like. Which flavor of ice cream? We've just learned. 어느 맛의 아이스크림을 like. 좋아해요? 어느 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아해요? More naturally, 어느 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아해요? Or you can omit the object particle 을. 어느 맛의 아이스크림 좋아해요? 어느 맛의 아이스크림 좋아해요? Let's omit the particle 의 too and see how it sounds like. 어느 맛 아이스크림 좋아해요? It sounds fine to me. 어느 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아해요? 어느 맛 아이스크림 좋아해요? Both are fine. Let's use 어떤 and turn the sentence into the higher respect form. 어떤 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아하세요? 어떤 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아하세요? Without the particle 을. 어떤 맛의 아이스크림 좋아하세요? 어떤 맛의 아이스크림 좋아하세요? Without the particle 의. 어떤 맛 아이스크림 좋아하세요? 어떤 맛 아이스크림 좋아하세요? They sound all fine. I like the last one most though. Let's use what, 무슨 this time. 무슨 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아하세요? 무슨 맛의 아이스크림을 좋아하세요? Without the particle 을 and 의. 무슨 맛 아이스크림 좋아하세요? 무슨 맛 아이스크림 좋아하세요? Okay? Very good. This particle thing is really bothersome, isn't it? Do we have to use them or not? Let me tell you something. We strongly believe that you should learn the very basics first. We're also teaching you the conversational way here too. But we recommend you should focus on the very basics with all the particles at least at level 1. Again, please try to learn the exact usage of all the particles here. It will help you have the strong fundamentals so that nobody will be able to mess with you later. Plus, you will get better and better really fast based on the strong fundamental you have. You can thank us later. Let's learn how to use what kind of or what sort of. It will be useful. What kind of food do you prefer? Let's use the verb prefer this time. What's the translation of the verb prefer? Yes, there is a verb which exactly means prefer in Korean. 선호하다. 선호하다. But it sounds a little bit formal. It's mainly because the first two letters, 선호, has the Chinese origin. Well, it's not like all the words that have a Chinese origin sound formal, but this one does, a little bit. So people use pure Korean verb to like with the comparative more or better more often than the verb prefer in Korea. To like more or to like better is 더 좋아하다. 더 plus 좋아하다. You can guess 더 means more, right? More or better in English modifies the verb like. Modifier should come before the word that is modified in Korean. Therefore, 더 should come before the verb like in Korean. 좋아하다 means to like. 더 좋아하다 means to like more or to like one thing better than the other, which means exactly the same as prefer. And we can see the English preposition of here too. So there will be a chance to use what we've just learned. Let's try 중 or 중에서 for the preposition of first. In this case, what kind will be used as an object of the sentence because of food part is going to be used separately as a source of choice. So the subject you comes first and of food comes next, which roughly means among food in a Korean sentence. So it's totally okay to position it before the object what kind appears. And then what kind part comes before the verb prefer or like more because it's the object of the verb. Let's use like more or like better this time rather than prefer. So the order of the words is going to be you, of food, what kind, like more, or like better. Let's ignore the subject you as usual. Of food. Food is 음식. 음식. 음식 is different from 밥. 밥 means a meal we have during a day. You already know that. So 음식 doesn't have higher respect form, while 밥 has a higher respect form, 식사. Okay? Of food, among food, 음식 중 or 음식 중에서. Let's use 중에서 again because we think it sounds clearer. 음식 중에서, 음식 중에서, among food. What kind? What is 무슨? Kind is 종류. 종류. So 무슨 종류. We use what kind as an object in this sentence, so we can add the object particle 를. 무슨 종류를. 무슨 종류를 like more or like better 더 좋아해요? 더 좋아해요? 음식 중에서 무슨 종류를 더 좋아해요? 음식 중에서 무슨 종류를 더 좋아해요? As you know, the verb prefer has the strong nuance of comparing. Therefore, you better use it when you have something to compare. Otherwise, you just use the verb like. That's enough. 음식 중에서 무슨 종류를 좋아해요? What kind of food do you like? Or what food do you like is fine too. But since this is just a practice, let's keep going. Let's use 어떤 instead of 무슨 and a higher respect form of the verb like better. You already know the higher respect form of the verb like. Therefore, you just need to add more, 더 in front of it. That's it. 음식 중에서 어떤 종류를 더 좋아하셔요? Or 더 좋아하세요? 음식 중에서 어떤 종류를 더 좋아하세요? Even though you get rid of the object particle 를, it would sound okay in conversational Korean. 음식 중에서 어떤 종류 더 좋아하세요? 음식 중에서 어떤 종류 더 좋아하세요? It's not that difficult, is it? Well, even though I say among food, you like what kind? In English, you understand the question, right? You just need to understand both the structure of the sentence and the way of Korean saying. Okay, let's use the other way to translate this sentence. We use the noun food as an object this time and use the verb prefer. In this case, the entire what kind of modifies the noun food. The subject you comes first, and because the entire what kind of part is going to modify the noun food, it should come before the noun food, and the verb prefer comes at the end of the sentence. You, what kind of food prefer? What kind of food? We are going to use the particle 의 this time, but the entire formal part, what kind, will come first, and then the particle 의 comes, and then the letter noun food comes in this case. And we explained very well about this in the previous page. What, 무슨, kind, 종류, of, 의, food, 음식, 무슨 종류의 음식, 무슨 종류의 음식. Since food here is used as an object, you can add a particle 을, 무슨 종류의 음식을, prefer, 선호해요? 선호해요? 무슨 종류의 음식을 선호해요? 무슨 종류의 음식을 선호해요? Yes, you can get rid of the particle 의 or 을 or both of them. 무슨 종류 음식을 선호해요? 무슨 종류의 음식 선호해요? 무슨 종류 음식 선호해요? They are all fine when you speak. If you use 어떤 instead of 무슨 with a higher respect form of the verb prefer, 선호하시다, it's going to be 어떤 종류의 음식을 선호하셔요? 어떤 종류의 음식을 선호하세요? Now you think you can make a sentence like this on your own? That's great.
This is the end of YouTube Lesson 5 Part 11. The next video is going to be about what plus noun and which plus noun as well. 그럼 다음 비디오에서 만나요. 안녕히 계세요.